Evening one and all, welcome back to the Rags and Jackson Sunday night. It's 7 o'clock. We have a special guest tonight. Two special guests actually.
Two for the price of one.
Yeah. So if you want to donate, you can. If you don't have to. Please follow us on other platforms except for BitChute. And Jack will do a roll call.
Yeah, I'll do a quick roll call. Who was in nice and early? Sandra's spicy Spanish salami sandwich, or 5 S's. Sensum's in. I don't get this. Lummi is Attackham. But it'll have to be explained to me. Someone with the very original name, no name, says Lummi was a legend from the day of Urba Derba's morning shows. Missed those days. That was a great vibe. He's been mentioned quite a lot lately, actually, Urba Derba. Is it time now? Hello, Livy. Hello. Hope John's all right. Good evening, darling, in there in Finland. Anglo-Saxon. Good evening, mate. Yeah, I think that's caught up for now. And good evening, Mr. Lummi and Miss Charlie Sparkles.
Good evening.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir. Yeah, apparently you're not allowed to do none of that. You've got to be fully northeastern.
No? Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
You having a laugh, haven't you?
So, how are you both? Lummi, you can go first. You okay, bud?
Fine. Yep. Lovely weather here.
Yeah, not so great here.
Planned for tomorrow, another bank holiday weekend. It's like
another bank holiday weekend. How many bank holidays? Oh, really?
More or less, yeah. But the thing is, it depends on the year because they don't give you the Monday every time. So it's whatever day it lands on.
Right.
So if it's on a Saturday or Sunday, then you don't get them.
Okay. Well, you got a nice day off for the family tomorrow, have you?
Yep.
Very nice indeed. And you're doing all right out there in Spain, Miss Sparkles?
Very well, thank you. Making great progress on the many projects, very many years worth of projects that we have ahead of us. Yeah, we got the basics down. We've got water in. We've got electric.
Did you start with a shell, or have you built from scratch?
It's a cave.
We started with a cave. Yes, it's a cave house. So I decided to move to the mountains. Oh yes, it's amazing. So it's,
wow. Okay.
And yeah, it's a really old. You have these really old fincas, like country houses, out in the wild, and they're still. You know, because the Spanish they don't want to live there. They've all moved to the cities, to the coast, and so you get all of these older people looking to sell because they're like, we may as well sell these places on, and they've mostly not been used since the 70s, 80s. So yeah, we had a shell of a house, which we've been working on now 2 years. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, I'm glad it's going all right for you out there. So we're mainly here tonight then to talk about Lummi, aka MS Jones or SM Jones. Did I get that the right way around? MS Jones. I did get it right. MS Jones.
That's my nom de plume. Can't say that.
You're not allowed to say that. It's your pen name. Yes. Okay.
I can't add on to
translation.
He says he sent a private message. Look on the private messages.
Yeah, I know, but he doesn't want to be added.
Right, okay, that's right.
Just so we can keep an eye on the chat.
Ah, right. What's it now? Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Carry on, Montague.
I'm not
carry on, Penfold. Yes. You have the third instalment of your book series coming out on the 18th of June, I think it is.
Yes, it's on pre-order now.
Okay.
If you
the links will be in the chat.
So
yeah, we'll throw the links in throughout the chat, but they are at the top of the YouTube chat. The Amazon links and your Substack link is already up there. So I guess then I'll hand over to you for a bit, Lummi, if you want to explain about the world that you write in and what's coming up in the third one.
Well, I always like to compare it favorably to Lord of the Rings. And I'm not the only person who says that, but it's your classic epic fantasy. You have a reluctant hero who gets thrown into a world where there's a big bad guy, or well, in this case, it's more of a coming apocalypse. You don't know who the good guy or who the bad guy is at the moment. So in Sacred Times, it was a basic quest where Marius, the protagonist, had to go out into the world and retrieve the sacred arms of the first imperator, who was basically the god of the Karen Empire, which are the major force in heraldry, which is the word. So he succeeded in that. He got beaten up in the process, fought a couple of demigods, and now he's back in Miramar, which is where he started. And he's seen things, and he's trying to convince people to react. But there's an event called the End Times coming up, which is prophesized, and everyone's going to have to march to a part of the land. Whereas from what Marius has seen, as the main danger is actually on the other side of the continent. So he's got a job to do. Yeah.
I take it Charlie reads all your stuff.
Doubt it. What did you do? Yeah.
I certainly proofread material that Lummi has sent over the years, shared with me.
Yeah. Do I proofread?
Giving feedback, but yeah, unfortunately, my mind goes to all of that punctuation, which is no. I am looking forward to getting. I will be purchasing the series. I was taken in. It was your latest advertising campaign, Lummi. Wonderful.
One of the few people who
I'd like to support. Yeah, I'd like to support. Obviously, one of our guys.
I wish people did.
Yeah, it's because it's totally genre that's unknown to me. When you say like Lord of the Rings, I mean, I don't really know, but it sounds like you're describing some otherworldly
it's a completely different
existence, really.
Planet.
Yeah.
I am a big Lord of the Rings geek. But then when Thingy took over and you had Lenny Henry as a dwarf, that was me. I'm out.
Oh no,
I did.
that didn't exist. I've never watched an episode of that.
That was the
series.
I think it was a TV series, wasn't it, Lemmy?
Amazon
series. That was it.
And they blew billions on it, and it was shite.
It was fucking awful.
Ridiculous.
It changed everything. Oh, you've made me depressed now. I think.
No more positive things.
Well, you can't now, because then you realise they've done it to the Wheel of Time, they've done it to Star Wars, they've done it to Dune, done it to every bloody thing,
Well, do you know what I've heard on the grapevine this week? I've never seen. I don't watch Marvel films or anything like that, but the new Black Panther, the leader of their mythical world, Wakanda, in the next film is going to be white. And it's causing a bit. No, it is
something about that.
Yeah,
no, it's an alternative.
It was really strange.
It was an alternative timeline in the comics where he is the son of T'Challa.
Oh, well, there you go. I wouldn't know. Did you read the comics?
No, but I follow a lot of pop culture YouTubers and stuff, so
yeah, but
I didn't know what's going on.
They're the people that watch those films aren't happy with it.
Well, of course not.
We've black and gay Superman, though, haven't we? So
I don't know if he's gay, Superman, but he's not American anymore. Because he used to fight for truth, justice, and the American way.
right.
So they changed that to truth, justice, and the human way.
Everything gets changed in the end, doesn't it? Right. So anyway, then. So sorry about that. I had to nip out and do a wee because I let myself run out of time there. What were you saying, Lummi? So it's coming out on the 18th, and this is the third instalment.
Yes.
What's its name for everyone?
Marius. Oh, the name of the book?
Yes.
The name of the book is Times of War.
And it's a part one. So I'm assuming there's more to come. Have you already chosen the number of books that are going to be in this series? Have you got the world you created in your head? Is it does it have a They'll have an ending. And how many are you going for?
Yes, the last paragraph is written.
The last paragraph written, and how many books will that be in the end?
Well, it's a complicated thing because originally it was supposed to be 4 books,
Yeah.
but the guy who published Sacred Time said, "Oh, people don't read long books anymore," so they got split into 2. So at the minute, it's going to be 8 books if I stick with the part 1 and the part 2. But
Right.
I think I'm going to do a big change for the 5th book, and it'll be the single volume. And I'll, if I got the time, republish Sacred Times as 1 volume and Times of War as 1 volume, because that was how I originally envisaged it. So.
That's how you envisage it. So when you create a world like you've done, a world from scratch, essentially, how do you keep, like, do you have to have, is it all in your head, or do you have big bits of paper everywhere with everything that links to everything that you can call back on and, you know, pull the threads from that link to each other? How do you do it? What's your technique?
Yeah, spreadsheets.
Yeah.
So I've got spreadsheets of the 2,000 or 3,000 years of history. It's like major events penciled in. That.
Yeah. And it's, do you use any of our time? I know, like, do you use the timeline of our? How am I going to put this? Like anything to do with our timeline to space out the events of the timeline in your world?
Kind of. So it's been 2,000 years since the biblical times in their world.
Right.
And you kind of fill it in. There was the equivalent of the Roman Empire, the equivalent of, now we're in the equivalent of the Renaissance, has been the equivalent of but you just draw on things and then, just for inspiration, and then it's all about changing them and making them different.
Yeah. Okay. So you're really enjoying what you're doing, and how long has it taken you to? So you said the last paragraph's written. So how long have you been writing these?
I don't want to say, really.
Has it been a lifetime's work? Is it?
Yeah. Well, let's say I started writing the ideas down when my first daughter was born, and she's now over 20. So
Wow.
quite a while. But it's not been full time, because I spent ages trying to get it traditionally published, and I just gave up, and then I came back to it, and then, not 20 years solid.
It says in the link there you can buy a Kindle version of it, and it's $6.98 Kindle.
$6.98? Oh, they must have added VAT or something.
Is it? Kindle's one of them sort of devices you can store many books on, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the Amazon ebook.
Ah, right, okay. With it. And then what's the paperback then?
That's a book. Paperback.
$10.99.
But you can't, on Amazon, you can't pre-order paperbacks.
Ah, right.
Pre-order the ebook now, but you have to wait until the 18th for the paperback.
What's he now?
Okay, cool. That's brilliant. So, wow, 20 years. So you tried to get it published traditionally in that. I mean, how many letters did you send? How many, were they called treatments, are they? Or is that a movie thing?
Well, it depends. Every publisher was different. Some wanted a summary, some wanted the first chapter, some wanted the first so many words, this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And gradually publishers stopped accepting submissions, and you had to go to an agent. So then you got to start all over again, sending to agents. And then even the agents stopped taking on people. Kind of.
So, I haven't bought a book for a lot. I haven't bought a novel for a long time. I'll admit that. But like, how hard? Well, I guess you're the litmus test, really. I mean, when I go past like the airport lounges where the books are, or if I'm ever in Waterstones and that, I see loads and loads of new books, but nothing obviously jumps out at me. So, I mean, how are these people? How are those people getting through the sort of the very hard.
Either established people from years ago,
Yeah.
or DEI hires who get a
Does
one
that
book
play a big
deal.
part in this world? Does it?
Oh, huge. I mean, I don't know if you've been looking at the articles I sent you, but I mean, basically, straight white men don't get published anymore. Well, like traditionally, you know.
If you're Hindi Andrews, you'll get published all the time.
Oh, I mean, you see some of the names of the authors.
It's that professor. Apparently, he's a professor. Of African studies. It's not very hard to study, is it? Mud, hut, stick.
We can't say that on YouTube.
So yeah. So Charlie,
basically-
yeah, go on.
Sorry.
That's right, go on.
Traditional publishing is dead. I mean, they're not, the stuff they do publish doesn't sell unless, they'll have, what's his name, the guy who writes Jack Reacher or J.K. Rowling, and they basically keep the publishers alive. They give out crumbs to, their pets, and nothing sells,
Right, Charlie, what is it you do then for your line of work then?
Well, I am basically homesteading full time, almost full time. I do have a startup business that I'm involved with, but that's all sort of in hand. It's sort of a part-time thing. No, my main thing is being here on the homestead, setting it up. Spend most of my time looking after animals currently, so working on.
What kind of animals do you keep?
Just cats and dogs currently. We are getting chickens finally again. I made the decision. We're going to be getting at least egg-laying chickens.
Do you have
this
to have a
week.
license though?
We do not, and if we did, I would plead ignorance.
Do they cluck?
Chickens,
in a
and I'll be
Spanish
doing a
accent?
cockerel so it can. Yes, sorry.
Do they cluck in a Spanish accent? I've heard that chickens around the world sound different. Is this true?
I wouldn't really have that much experience with English chickens or otherwise, to be honest. So
Fair enough.
they make the first time I had chickens with the Spanish chickens. So, but the Spanish word is, rather than cock-a-doodle-doo, it is kikiriki.
There you go. So I might be onto something there then.
In Spain.
Mark, Lummi, Mousecat wants to know, do you believe it's also what we were talking about previously, that it's also due to like a dumbing down of society in general, with people not wanting to read, people just wanting 30 seconds of gratification?
It's both, but I mean, young lads who want to read exciting stories can't find them anyway. So they go to the PC or the game console, and they get their imagination out there. But I sent you some links about where are the books for boys, where are the books for men.
It's is it the heavy percentage of the actual authors are female anyway?
Well, intentionally, the published author, I mean, if you go into the indie scene, it's something different.
Quick update. I put up a poll in the chat. I don't know if you've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, have you been reading Lummi's books? Hell yes, 26%. Not yet, 74%.
Well, we need to change that.
Yes, we need to change that, folks. Buy Lummi's books.
And read them, because they've been good. Well, actually, I have a mate who reads loads, but he hates fantasy. So I'm going to give him my first book. He just said, no, it's got a unicorn in it. I'm not reading that. But I've been pushing him for years, and he's actually been helping me by proofreading the final versions. And he actually said this Times of War, he actually enjoyed it.
Right.
So I don't know if I've got inside his head or... Because I think there's more like soap opera stuff in it. There's more people, more stuff. Yeah, like the first one's a bit dry. It's like, oh, I'm going out to fight had people comment, well, why aren't there any women in your books? I was like, it was about the army and the church and the equivalent of the the Middle Ages. There weren't any. You know? Where now he's got a lady friend. And,
Yeah, so it's more appealing.
There's a question from Ams. I don't know, you just can't probably see it. Charlie, can you see it? Will Lummi do audiobooks?
Wow.
You get Charlie Sparkles to read them. She's got a very posh English voice.
We did
should
talk
do it
about
for
this
free.
years ago. Remember, Lummi, when you wrote that short story? Was it for Halloween? And I read it in all the different voices for the different characters. That was good fun.
You should maybe something you should think about.
What's that one when we were in lockdown?
It costs a fortune at the end of the day. And you've got AI solutions now, but you cannot use an AI-generated audiobook on Amazon, which is the main selling platform.
Right.
And even an AI is going to be like $1,000 or $2,000.
So they put the roadblocks in place for that then.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously a lot more people that are listening to audiobooks, but again, it's cutting off. You're cutting off a bit of the market, but you can't afford it. I mean, if books were selling, first thing I would do is invest it, in getting an editor, getting someone to do the audiobooks. But I mean, I'm barely paying for my beer at the moment. So.
Right. See, audiobooks I can deal with. Sitting reading, I'm dyslexic, so it takes me fucking ages to read anything. Forms that come in through the house, letters that come in, and sort of.
I mean, there's an option. You get text to speech.
Yes.
I mean, it's not perfect. The robot telling you the story. And
are there not smaller production companies, perhaps, that are offering services for that sort of thing? Have you looked into that, Lummi? So I do hear of smaller production companies doing advertising, marketing campaigns, for a much lower cost.
But
because
again,
now everybody has access to these.
It has to be zero for me because I haven't got got the money to pay for it. I'm spending all my time writing the books, and now I'm doing everything. I'm formatting them, doing the covers myself, uploading them to Amazon, doing the marketing. So
with all the Scrubs different voices, you could probably put together a good melee of characters. Can you imagine John Palmer being one of your characters? It'd be amazing.
John Palmer would do really well.
Oh yeah, no, exactly who he could be. There's a character to write.
John Palmer plays Bricktop.
Oh, this is fantastic! This is right up my alley because we did some audio stage shows years back in the company, and they were like, I just loved it because you had to make all the sounds. Everyone stood there with their mics, and you have to sort of act it through, voice acting. That's good fun. That could be a good project, maybe.
You can imagine John Palmer doing Bricktop. Do you know what nemesis means? A righteous infliction of a horrible cant, namely me.
Baz says your first book is fantastic, Loomis. Well, there's another 2 to get your head around now, then, Baz.
Thank you.
Who will you play? Who will you cast Billy as?
Oh, Billy, he's probably one of the. Oh, I can't say because it's a spoiler because he's not in the book.
What sort of elements? What sort of character, though? What role?
A real
say that
weird
much.
One.
Yep.
I can't say anything because it's 2 books on before you.
That's fair enough. So this is all you're doing at the moment for work?
Yeah, technically doing fuck all. At least I have the excuse to bring up the kids, but I mean, they're old enough to do that themselves.
How do you discipline yourself in a day to get stuff done?
I don't. It's really. Sometimes I'll be writing, thousands of words a day. Sometimes I'll just sit there and, wish.
Sensum says he uses audiobooks these days. It doesn't read proper novels and bits and pieces, and he says, "Get your finger out, Lummi." So,
Oh yeah, on top of
Devon
the
Stagg.
formatting, on top of the cover design, on top of the
Yes.
marketing, I just slip in the audiobooks as well. Okay. I
Here.
think it completely on my own. I mean, first one came out was with the publisher, the Archives, so they helped with the layout and the cover and stuff. But they've had problems, so I just put out.
Oh, so this
last
isn't
two
even
ones.
through them anymore.
Hmm?
This isn't through them anymore.
I'm still saying it's by them because, in my spirit, it's by them. It's just they haven't got the time to
That's such a shame.
complicate it. So, I mean, that
Billy
makes a
would
big
be,
difference.
Yeah,
Just
I
having
guess,
someone behind you.
Yeah. So is everyone suffering in the world of literature, apart from
Yeah.
obviously the big players?
Everybody, even they 15 years ago were not trying to do it traditionally. They used to go to all the conferences and stuff.
Yeah.
And this figure came out that, a traditional published author with his books in the bookshop at that time was making 7,000 a year. And
Wow.
now
Yeah.
there are millions more authors, fewer people buying them. I mean, if you sell 1,000 copies, that's the bestseller. But I mean, it's all about volume.
That's crazy. I guess I can kind of, how I can put that into my world is like with music production, when you used to have to because like if I go on to say like a site now to look at some tunes, like I don't know, to go and look at some new tunes, and I'll pick a genre, there will be 1,000 new tunes that have come out that week because people can just upload their stuff, right? But there's no quality control anymore. There's no A&R men in the middle to say no. That's
No,
not,
Amazon's millions of books a day, new books.
yeah, it's must be so, yeah, it must be very difficult and hard to want to keep going. But I mean, if it's something that you really, really enjoy doing and have got a love for, then keep at it.
I would never advise anyone to do it unless you have to. I mean, some people have to. I have to. I mean, otherwise, I'm just all them things are all in my head. I just want it out on paper.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's amazing to have that drive. That's brilliant.
I mean, you've got the AI now, so there's people who just write AI slop. You got, people have bot farms where you got the KDP, which like you get free ebooks if you sign up for Amazon KDP, it's called, and people just have in bot farms in Indonesia that are pretending to read their book, so they're making money off that. If you go on Amazon, say what kind of books sell. If you go on YouTube, say what kind of books sell on Amazon. Crosswords, Sudoku, coloring books, journals, so just empty pages.
Really? I wasn't aware of the situation.
Nowhere
That's really
does it say
surprising.
write a good book,
And where does it?
Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, Charlie.
I was just going to ask if that's a big part of it, then the quality. That's what, quantity over quality. You reckon if because you're saying the old publishing's dead, so with these new media outlets and ways that authors are managing to self-publish and gain their own following,
that's it. I mean,
that's where you can get more people reading again.
But like, if you look on YouTube, how to be a successful author, it's A, be famous for something else first, B, write a book, and then C, channel your book sales into whatever else it is you do for a living.
Yeah.
Is it like everything else as well? It's the following, like you have to have an online presence and enough followers often to get the volume of sales.
So after I've done the audiobook, I can set up a YouTube channel.
You got to do everything. Yeah.
It's not what people think it is. It's not what it used to be. It's a dog.
But the good thing
Barking in
is
French.
always exist. You know,
Yeah.
they exist forever. So if not now, as I've always said to you, in some future
Oh,
time.
God,
I'm
another
reading
dog.
books from the mid 1800s currently. I bet those people never thought someone would be reading those 150 years later.
Yeah, they're the best books.
Yeah, well, that's all they had, though, wasn't it? That's the thing. There's so many mediums now.
Yeah, and back then, I mean, you know, you had to have the whole industry behind you so that you had to have a good book. You know, no one would
I wonder.
invest in publishing hardback copies of a book if it wasn't good. You know?
Yeah, well, there's a
That's
lot
it.
more that went into it physically as well, right? To make a book, printing a book and stuff. Like it was a more of an artwork, wasn't it? Publishing.
Yeah, but now you just go on Amazon and tell it, do me a hardback, and then you get a hardback the next day.
Yeah, it's I don't really like where the future's going personally. But
Yeah,
that's just me.
Paul Joseph Watson and Dangerfield, they wax lyrical about these generated things, and you just type in a couple of keywords, and then it writes a story for you. Where's the effort in that?
Bit shite anyway.
You know, there's no thought. You know, what?
I'll tell you what, I've told this, I don't know who to before, but I tried it in times of war. So basically, there's a huge dramatic event, and I'm thinking, well, I need the protagonist to reflect on what's happened and the implications and what's going on in the world. And then the AI just went, oh, he got on his horse, which I never mentioned he had a horse, drove to the sacred pool and removed his armor and dipped his toes in the magical coolness and relaxed. What kind of shite is that?
I remember Mother reading Lord of the Rings to us, and the description of the hole under the tree and walking down through the hallway, and it's warm and dry, and I just went into every single detail, and you can picture yourself there as me as a child sitting listening to me while I'm reading, and you can actually picture yourself being there, you know. Now it's just crap.
Mm-hmm. Now it's all, I made love to a T-Rex, and you know, that's all started. Twilight.
I've been hearing about that lately. Things I'd rather not know. Although it seems to be space though for good quality. Or, you know, like we're going back to the lack of male authors, or authors perhaps catering for young men.
I think all
boys.
There are many, but they're all independent.
Oh, I mean, I meant in the traditional media, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing where things are changing. I mean, what you could buy on Amazon is not the same as what you can buy in Waterstones.
Well, that's great though, because it's the start of you know, these things perhaps have been very small to begin with, but they're gaining traction. More people finding out about them. So
it's not the start though. This has been going on for a long time, so now it's just a huge, overly saturated market.
You know. It's a very depressing stream so far, isn't it?
Something positive.
Well,
you're doing what you love, Lummi, and you are getting your stories, and that's more
why I invited
commendable.
Charlie on,
It's really impressive.
That's why I invited Charlie, because I said I'm just going to be visible on the stream. You can come on and cheer everybody up.
Hey, you keep patting me down though. Keep coming in with my attempts at positivity.
That's it.
Okay, I'll stop now. Buy my books; they're really good.
Yeah.
They are. You are such a good author, though. I can say that. And as somebody again who I've never read fantasy ever, and I started reading your Substacks and your other stories. It's just fantastic. So I can really hear it because I know your voice. Going back to the audiobook, because I know your voice as well. It's almost like I can hear you. You know, I can hear the voice so vividly. and he really paints a picture. Everything's worth a read in his work.
Lummi, Toff has a
Mhm.
question for you. Who's your favourite character from Baker Grove?
Who's the one who got shot in the face?
What was Baker Grove again? What was
Not,
Baker?
not the one who got shot in the face, but the one who shot him in the face.
Was Charlie Lumen in that?
Oh, what them little fellas? What they're called?
Ant and Dick.
Yes.
And Charlie Lumen from
that.
Sons of Al
They're the only ones I remember. So I wasn't in
I've
it.
dropped a couple of links in the chat there. One's for the Kindle version of your book where you can pre-order the latest one, and one for your Substack there. So
You.
if you use Substack, then get on it and subscribe to Lummi's Substack.
Yeah, I
Yeah, it's another
recommend
thing that's
subscribing to
come out of
that.
the blue.
You get the short stories. Are you
Substack's
still publishing
positive.
short stories
Uh,
on there?
I've got some waiting on the next Bizarre Archives. There'll be one.
Oh, yeah. When is that coming out? Do they have a date yet?
Ooh,
No.
eventually.
Okay, I know.
That's right.
I know how it's.
That's why I brought my books out on my own, because it's just, the way things are going on.
Will there be a renaissance though? Like, I don't know if that's the right word. Will there be a time where we'll be nostalgic and this sort of stuff will rise again? Like, books for boys and everything goes in cycles, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, it is happening now, but it's very niche. You know what I mean? So you've got lots of independents, either individuals doing it themselves, or you got, places like the Bizarre Archives, which again is just some guy in his basement, but he's getting other people out there. There's a few others to mention. There's like Passage Press. Don't know if you heard of them.
No.
Published by them as well, but they had an annual competition for poetry and art and stuff, and they published them. And they now got funding from Peter Thiel.
Oh, well, there you go.
So they're going to be something. They've been poaching authors and editors from some of the traditional fantasy publishers as well.
Right.
So they're someone to watch out for. That's Arc Press, but they're very US centric. I mean, they have competitions, which are like, oh, right, story about the Great American West. And so you can kind of see they're going on. There's like this Iron Age movement. We've got like a load of YouTubers. Have you heard of Razor Fist?
Razor Fist? Oh, no, I've heard no. I was going to say, was that a DJ? No.
Friday Night Tights. Have you ever heard of that?
Friday Night Tights. That does ring a bell.
That's like a big group of different YouTubers who basically did all the O's and Star Wars shit now, and Doctor Who shit. But they started bringing out books and publishing stuff.
Okay.
And they do well, but they keep it to themselves. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, look, people are saying there Razor Fist was decent. Streaky Bacon, he wants he's nostalgic for Dirty Mags. Finding him in a hedge somewhere.
Yeah.
The Sticky Pages.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm nostalgic for the past all the time.
I think the more and more diversity is forced upon us, we get nostalgic for the past.
I thought we're trying to be happy now. So positively, Substack is great, I think.
Yeah, it'll be a good start to get people reading again, get the men reading again. Apparently, we're lacking. Not just men. It does appear it's men and women.
Yeah. But this isn't even really a good excuse. It's no excuse whatsoever. But my eyes have been failing me for the last 3-4 years, and I've only just been buying like the cheap bargains. And that's another reason why I've stopped reading as well. It's because my mum would tell you when I was a kid, she'd come and put me like up in bed. As soon as I could read, I'd just have a book stuck to me all day. And the amount of times you said, "Come on, turn your light off," and the book would just be on your face. You'd fallen asleep with it across your face. So, but I was all into stuff like Enid Blyton and Yeah, all stuff like that when I was a kid. I liked, yeah.
What with the
Um,
I was
gollywogs?
just thinking, I
Yeah, she
reckon there
was
could be a,
The railway children.
renaissance for reading, maybe even just those old classics, you know. People
Yeah,
go
the
back
Railway
to
Children,
what we
stuff like
know.
that. Yeah,
It'd
brilliant.
be a type of meditation. You know, people can take time out to read and broaden their minds.
What was the French one they turned into a cartoon? And they had a wee dog with him.
The Famous Five.
Tintin.
Oh, Tintin, yeah. Belgium, wasn't it? The author.
Was
Yeah.
it Belgium or French?
Belgian.
Belgium.
All
With the
famous-
Thompson twins.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I've been listening to, I don't know if you ever used to listen to, I guess I got it from my father because of his age and that. My dad was like 39 when he had me. He grew up listening to a lot of like radio plays and, you know, things like Hancock's Half Hour and stuff like that.
Right.
And I found myself quite recently actually being sort of drawn back to them, listening to them to fall asleep doing that. Again, I guess that's kind of like almost like a comfort blanket thing, you know. I don't want to listen to anything. I mean, have you heard any modern Radio 4 comedy shows? They are
No,
detestable in every single way. You can just imagine what they're like now, can't you? There was a time. I mean, even Radio 1 used to do good comedy back in the 90s, 80s, and 90s.
Yeah, my dad used to. We used to go on a lot of sort of road trips, long trips in the car, and he'd play all those sorts of things. Yeah, in the 90s, 80s, and 90s, almost like, I guess, not audiobooks because, like you say, it was more like plays for radio.
Theatre of the mind.
It was fantastic. Yeah, it's really like you. I'm sure it's really soothing. You know, I do like those sorts of things.
Yeah, I mean,
did you ever hear of Charlie Way of the World? And it used to be on LP and it used to be on tape cassette.
War of the Worlds.
War of the Worlds. Aye.
Mum had of course. Yeah. We drew on that for when we did our radio.
Immeasurably superior to ours. Richard Burton.
Yeah, that was a classic. They did a radio. If you look on YouTube, you can find the recording of people live doing on the mics, doing a performance of that.
That that story about that it being played on the radio in America and everyone freaking out thinking it was real. Do you know that was total guff? That wasn't the truth.
Yeah, it doesn't. Nothing's true, is it, when you look into anything? But
for years I used to tell people that story. Did you know when they first played this on the radio in America, everyone went mental and thought the aliens were really coming?
Surely some people have fallen for it.
That was awesome.
Shotguns.
Was it like a publicity stunt, or
they
wanting to cancel him?
No, it was Orson Welles did the.
Orson Welles, right? Yeah.
But he did it as a news presenter, so yeah, it was a publicity gimmick. Yeah, he made he made out as if it was really happening. So.
What kind of stuff did you grow up with, Lummi?
Me?
Did you get your material like from your parents? Did they push you onto certain stuff?
Not particularly, no. I mean, there's always books in the house, but it was like biographies and encyclopedias. I used to read them.
Yeah.
That's why you know so much.
That's why I'm good at.
My dad had all them A to Z. I think the last one was XYZ though. Everything had its own apart from XYZ with its own volume.
Right. You to get the little I Spy books. Remember them?
No, I don't remember them. I had a lot of comics handed down from my brother, who from the age of as soon as he was short trousers, he wanted to be in the army, and he left school and went straight into the AC. And he used to read all the mags from America, like Soldier of Fortune and all stuff like that, with the amazing artwork on the front, just like soldiers being blown to bits on the front cover and stuff. So stuff that just wouldn't be, I guess, politically correct now.
Right, Commando.
Like a Japanese being cut in half with a Bren gun on the front cover. But,
Achtung, Schweinhunde, Englische Pig.
that's it. Yeah.
I read a lot of 2000 AD. You know that?
I was never into that. See, I never really got into like the fantasy my little brother was into comics and stuff. Like his one of his great things was going to old Jay and Silent Bob's old comic book shop in Redbank, in New Jersey, the Secret Stash. That was something he wanted to do for years that he did. But yeah, I was never into that. I know. I think. Is that like Judge Dredd and stuff? Is it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Kofi's put it up there. Judge Dredd. Yeah.
Oh,
I think
Action. Remember Action comic?
Yeah, that was the army one, wasn't it?
No, that was one with Hookjaw.
Hookjaw. Some of the names.
The giant shark that just ate people every episode, and they played Spinball, which was like Rollerball, the movie. Played on a giant pinball machine, and I'm like 9-10 years old, and there's like people get hit by the flippers and get smashed into the glass, and the body just drips down.
Yeah, we weren't shied away from that sort of stuff, were we?
No. There's Battle. You had Charlie's War.
The difference now is 10, 11-year-olds are watching actual soldiers from like Ukraine battlefields. And I guess that might be the difference. Now with iPhone footage being like live streamed of actual war.
Yeah, but like Charlie's War was terrifying. It was like a retelling of a young British lad in the First World War who went through like all the major battles and stuff, and it was just awful. But brilliant, well told, well illustrated, but
so
kind of stuff you grew up with.
You must be. I know you're really into your battle strategy and stuff, because I think me and Mousecat were talking about you. Like we were talking about. I when I come here to Regs, we were talking about films and that, and I ordered the Bob Spiger's version of Waterloo, the 1970 version, which I think is the best version. And
only version.
Yeah, the only version. I mean, some of the facts surrounding that film is like they used the Ukrainian army as extras because you obviously couldn't CGI in just thousands of men, but you had to have that if you were going to try and do a really good take on Waterloo. And 150 horses died during the making of that film as well.
I didn't know.
It's quite sad, but it definitely didn't have the no animals were harmed during the making of this movie tag at the end of it.
That's why they started adding them after.
Was the 70s
that film?
I still don't know how they do it today. How they like make that look so real with like when there's horses and stuff being. I know that I found out that when there's like explosions going off, they don't hear the sound or something. Is it? Like they're just like sort of like soundless explosions, and they add all that in after.
I don't know, but they use stunt horses, so they're trained to fall over and stuff.
Yeah, they do. From what I know, they tend to add the audio, those sorts of sound effects afterwards to make sure it's a controlled sound, and it's rather than have the mics pick up every sound everywhere when you're in. Because that was out in field, wasn't it?
What made me think about that the other day was it was a film I was watching with Rags, and there was a little kid in the scene, and it was a proper gunfight going off, and it was so loud, and I was thinking, how did they do that with that little kid there? And he said, they must have put in all that audio after.
Yeah.
Then that must be just like pew, 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 pew.
Filmmaking is not as glamorous as I imagine people might imagine.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I reckon it must be. Yeah, the magic all happens after, doesn't it? In post, really.
An actor, that's why you probably, because I've both been in the productions, but I prefer doing the backstage stuff. The divas have to deal, but you can understand because you just stand around most of the time. It's really boring while they're getting everything set up, and you've got to. That was sort of my job, to keep all the talent sweet, keep everybody happy, next to everybody. Yeah, oh yes. Strokes and egos and everything.
Yeah, make
Well,
sure there's
that was
Peruvian
more the
flake
musicians,
available.
really. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
So
I
yeah.
wouldn't be able to do a job like that.
No,
No,
you seem
no, I couldn't
very
work. I couldn't work with people like
affable.
that.
Being
Oh, I
nice
bet
to people.
you do. Well, you've got to keep control of them as well. Be firm, but no, I reckon you come across the really friendly. You do really well in that sort of a role. The
Yeah,
person you
maybe
come
in another
to.
lifetime. Yeah. So, what are your guys' plans for the summer then? Let's get on to something a little bit more uplifting. What are you guys planning to do for the summer?
You want to go first, Charlie?
Me? All right. Yes. Well, continuing on. What are we doing at the moment? Finishing off the dog kennels so that we can perhaps leave the house together sometimes. At the moment, it's one's always having to be on site at a time, so only one can go out to get supplies.
Does your fella work, or are you both homesteading?
Both homesteading. He also has various roles online. It's all remote work, so that's really the key thing that allowed us to do this.
The digital nomad.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah. And yeah, so and exciting. Well, it's not that. Well, it is exciting for me. Signing up to do the Forestal. Going about the mountains because they had a really bad fire here. It's a fire risk around these areas. So they have volunteers every summer who'll go about in little groups, just make sure everything's all right. Keep a lookout in case there's any smoke or anybody having barbecues in the woods. You want to do that. So that's pretty cool. Getting
Do
involved
they
with that. Okay.
do they actually look after the forest? Like what Trump was saying to to Joe Rogan before they had the massive LA wildfires? They're saying, no, they don't get rid of all the dead stuff. They don't.
No, it's scandalous. When I was living on the other mountain, because we rented on a different mountain before coming here, it actually did bother me because I'd go out and collect kindling for our fire, and I found out that in fact what I was doing was probably illegal because it was actually a part of a protected area, like a green area that they're leaving to be wild, and so the fact I was out
Rewilding.
gathering sticks, oh dear, so I'd sort of
Yeah.
collect these big bundles. Yeah, I'd still do it because it's a fire risk. I was like, well, for a start, it's a fire risk around the house having all of this kindling literally just laying
Yep.
about waiting to catch fire. So
Charlie,
yes.
when we had the bad storms a few months ago, Brick will tell you, you drive up the road and there's big trees that have been there for hundreds of years over on their side. The locals were around with their chainsaws, chopping them up
Oh,
and
Yeah.
piling them back of a trailer for firewood for the winter.
Yeah.
not exactly. That's
And the council, like, they don't get involved because it saves them a job.
oh really? Oh,
Yeah.
that's good.
And the locals, just season up the firewood then, and away you go. So I don't think you could just go out and start chopping trees down willy nilly. But if it's falling
No.
over and it's it's just going to rot away, yeah, they get in there.
Oh,
There was loads of them up the road, weren't there, Rags? All the trailers and people out with their chainsaws getting it all chopped up. Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
well,
I thought
no,
I've learned.
they do it down south as well. They just go out, the thing falls
That's lovely.
over.
Well, natural resources. That's why we came. That's why I thought, because I was obviously living down on the coast. It's a desert with palm trees and cacti everywhere. And I was like, oh no, I need a place that has more natural resources around it. And that's what got me thinking about the mountains. And I was surprised because I'd never really been up to the rural parts. It's lovely. It's lush. It's green. There's pine forests and rivers.
Oh, I'm really glad for you, man. Fair play. Where did you used to live in England? Don't dox yourself, but where roughly did you live in England?
I was down southeast is where I
Well, I was
grew up
I was Hampshire.
Yeah, Hampshire. See, I didn't really get because I moved away when I was young, so I just knew my town really and the surrounding ones. Down on the coast as well. So I went from the southeast of England to the southeast coast of Spain.
Very nice indeed. I went for a nice
Bit of
walk
a
earlier.
change.
Is
For a nice
the,
walk earlier. Go on,
is
then.
the, is the southeast coast of Spain as bad as the south coast of England at the minute?
With what?
As
In
bad
what
as.
regard?
Oh,
With
I know what he means.
new arrivals,
Oh.
1,200.
It really is. I was shocked when I went down to my old barrio, the old neighborhoods. Yeah, that ain't good. That's not good. And it's causing real problems, you know, people that might be considered I don't want to say the word wrong uns themselves. They're calling us saying, "Oh, you know, how have you done? You know, wanting to do what we've done. You get out of the area because of it all. You know, it's a real."
They've been having protests in Spain about like the Airbnbs, people buying up properties, and then
That's been a massive problem. The rents just shot up. You know, double, triple, even quadruple. You know, it's so expensive now. That's what led to us buying. Funnily enough, though, so it was a good turn of events for us because like for what we were paying each month, over €1,000 in rent, which is just crazy. You know, it's unheard of. Rents here have always been really cheap, and it seems to be the case that it's all these Airbnbs and rentals now that people can do, pushing the prices up for long-term rentals. So
Well, the long-term rentals here are going through the roof because landlords here are getting government contracts for 5 years for housing new to the parish type people, you know, Bungo and Wangdulu and, you know, Giuseppe. So even the native people can't get a rented property here.
it's a
So
shame to hear that it's happening everywhere. I'm so surprised to see it happening in Ireland for one place and over here. I remember years ago talking about this, and it just seemed like no, that's just not a thing here. That couldn't happen. You know.
what we are seeing a lot here is, and Brooke will back me up on this, is when you go shopping in Littles, you'll hear accents like yourselves and Lummi's accent, your
Charlie,
accent, Scottish
Charlie,
accent.
you're here to cheer people up, man.
Yeah, sorry. If only you could see my face on the camera, you'd see me sort of wincing. Like, oh, what have I done again? Yes, an uplifting end to the stream. Lummi, any suggestions?
On
Give
what
us
to
something
do?
uplifting.
Oh, I'm going
yeah,
to
what to
New
do?
York
Oh, your
for a
plans for the
holiday.
weekend is what we were on.
I'm going to go to New
topic.
York, so it'll be a relief to come back, I think.
You'll be going to New York.
Yeah.
You off to New York, are you?
Yeah, on the holiday.
Really?
Oh, okay. Are you going upstate New York or are you going city New York?
City, just Manhattan, I hope.
Is that no danger?
Yeah, you got your stab-proof vest.
Well,
Bulletproof.
probably where we are is not like that. I mean, and I'm wise enough to stay away from certain places. So.
Yeah, stay away from Central Park.
I'm worried about the metro a bit.
Oh yeah, God! Any underground station, any underground system, though, is filthy, isn't it?
Oh, we're blackpilling again.
Yeah.
Hey, come on! It's gonna be great. You can be tourists over there.
And then I'll be in the UK.
When are you coming to the UK?
I'm coming to the UK end of July.
Are you planning to see anyone from the Scrubs?
My niece is getting married, so I'll be up with the parents.
Nice.
Yeah. If there's anyone around there that can come and say hello.
So you'll all be suited up, boy, all dapper.
Yeah. Proper bow tie that I tie myself.
No, I wouldn't have a clue. Wouldn't have a clue where to start. I'd have to have like a peewee one, like just on a bit of elastic.
No, it'd upset the Queen. Apparently, she could spot a fake bow tie from 30 yards.
Well, good old Queenie. Rest of the song. Right, let's plug your stuff again then, and then we'll wrap it up for this evening. Number 3. Just plug yourself. You're here, so you do it.
Well, Times of War available soon on Amazon.co.uk.
Yeah, I'll drop the link in again.
And if you go on my Substack, I mean, I'm not doing a lot, but it's an eclectic mix of different short stories, and I tried to put some background into the Heraldry series. So it's a good fun, and it's like a mailing list as well, so you get annoyed by mails in your inbox every time I post something. So that's why I don't want to do it too often. Yeah.
That's fair enough, mate.
That's the best way to keep in touch. You can chat to me on there or on Telegram.
Yep.
You know.
What's your handle on Telegram? You stick it in the private chat. I can.
Illuminati.
Just at Illuminati, so that's wheel number 4.
Yeah. On the Substack, it's got a private chat and everything. So I've had one person I don't know ask me about my books. That was quite. Oh, I've got a fan.
Hey,
On the
there you
Substack.
go. One fan today. Tomorrow.
2 tomorrow. Yeah, I got one book sale yesterday as well. I might get another one today.
Nice. There you go.
All right.
Gaining traction.
Yeah, positive.
Nice.
No, I mean, you would not believe how
Positive.
happy you are when you sell a book.
Oh. Yeah, we need to find ways to promote it. I like this crowdfunded voiceover.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
That'd be great fun.
Yeah. Right, listen, guys, thank you for popping on this evening, giving us your time. Really appreciate it. Good luck with it all, Lummi.
Thanks for the invite.
Keep us up to date with everything. Charlie, it's great. It was great to speak to you at last. I hope everything goes well with your homesteading. And
Thank you.
Yeah, just keep getting that kindling. Don't worry about the fucking. Don't worry about the barley.
Oh, it's all fine now. I own the mountain now, so I can collect kindling to my heart's desire.
Mountain woman.
Down trees, should I like?
And everyone else, don't forget to get a Kindle in so you can read my ebooks.
That's it.
Hey.
We have one more stream lined up for this current run because there's going to be a couple of weeks off while Rags moves and I find out where I'm going next. So that will be next Sunday at the same time, 7 with Horus. Looking forward to that. I've got a couple of midweek streams as well, but I'll plug them in the week. And I will see you all next week with Rags and Horus. Thank you, Lummi. Thank you, Charlie.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye. I'm going to give you a wee bit of a literal treat here. This is from our guy on Telegram, The End of Everything. You can follow him on YouTube. He's really, really good. I love listening to his stuff. Before we flee, I'll just play this for you here. It's just a quick short one.
O rose, thou art sick, the invisible worm that flies in the night in the howling storm, has found out thy bed of crimson joy, and his dark secret love does thy life destroy.
I honestly thought you were going to give us a bit of uplifting gold then, Rags.
He puts out a couple every week and they're brilliant. I love listening to that guy. So we have, who have we got next week?
Horus.
I haven't set that up yet.
Then we'll be on a hiatus for as long as it needs.
Yeah.
Does that guy do ebooks, audiobooks?
I'm not too sure. He's at the end of everything. He's on YouTube and he's on Telegram.
Okay.
And he reads out old poetry from the 1800s, early 1900s and stuff. The old war poems and things like that there. And it's just his voice. He's very good at it. So,
I'm a big fan of William Blake myself. Appreciated that. Anyway. Bonne nuit tout le monde.
All the best, my friend. Take care now.
Cheers, Charlie. Cheers, Lummi. Right, that just leaves me to say we will all see you next week with Horus, the all-seeing eye. Leaves me to say good night, God bless, or in my case, Odin bless.